By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this is the Knight of Cups. This is all about giving and receiving love and affection, right? This is the first position. It is called the station. This is your sense of self. This is how you see yourself. This is the current of your identity. This is your tone of being right now. I feel like you're compassionate. I feel like you're empathic. I feel as if you are following your heart. You're a person of passion. This is a card of the understanding what our gift is and giving it to the world. I feel like you're someone who is really striving to be of service to the world around you. This is how we are in private, okay? And so this is kind of like when all the masks come off. This is who you are when you're alone. This is the real you, and you're a compassionate, loving person who cares about people. You want to help heal the world. You want to heal yourself. You want to share of your energy with other people. You love connecting with people. You love people. You're a very social person when everything's said and done. Underneath all of it, right? That's who you are. Reflect on how this card resonates with your sense of self at this moment. Okay? The giving and receiving of love and affection. How we communicate and how we show our love to other people. The kindness that we give to others. The love that we present to the world. Random acts of kindness, the way that we communicate love, not with words, but with gestures, the little things and the big. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. This is a great card. I love the Knight. It's a Cancer power card too, by the way. So we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. We have the Prince of Pentacles. We have an 8 of Swords. We have a Prince of Wands. We have a 4 of Cups. We've got the Adjustment card. We have the Devil card. We have the Fool card. We have a 3 of Swords, interesting. We have a 7 of Pentacles. Okay. We're going to select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're just going to set it down over here and put Dwight K. Schrute right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see some good majors, don't we? We see 1, 2, 3. We see the Adjustment card, the Devil card, and the Fool. Okay? We see attachment. We see non-attachment. We see ambition. Really good stuff, right? We've got fire. We've got water. We've got air. And we've got a little bit of earth. Okay? Now, this is position 2. This is called the battle. This is where your task is revealed, right? This is the field of your conflict. This is the challenge that you're facing right now. And it's the Prince of Pentacles. It's the builder. Okay, it's sort of, between the knight and the prince here, it's sort of asking, like, what world are we building? Are we building new relationships? If we feel this love and this compassion and we want this, we want to be of service and we want to make connections, we want to have this reciprocating exchange of love with the universe, are we building that? And if we're not, why not? Right? This is where we need the courage. This is where we're being tested. This is the conflict for us. It may be that we have this true essence in ourself, this Knight of Cups energy. We want to be passionate. We want to be connected. We want to be loving, and we want to communicate that love and share that love. We want to give our gift to the world. What is the world that we're actually building? Are we living a life now that feels like it's more just routine, where there's not this kind of love in there? And why aren't we building a world that is filled with this? So if there's a conflict here, it might be that we sort of feel like, we want this kind of love, but we don't feel that we're going to be received well, or there's something that's frustrating the achievement of this kind of compassion or connection or bond between you and other people. So it feels like there's kind of something getting in the way. That I think you're going through a period right now of kind of learning how to build a world that is full of love, because that's the world that you want to live in. Okay? And so the Prince of Pentacles is someone who shows up every day. This is someone who puts in the work. Okay? And I think you know that if you really love something and you care about something, it's a relationship, it's a job, it's a pet, a plant, a person, it's a path, it's a career, it's a sport, it's a skill, whatever it is. It's a stamp collection, I don't know. Maybe you're learning how to make ice cream. It's going to be work. If you love it enough, if you have the passion for it, you got to put in the work to build it. It's like, it's one thing to have a talent, a passion. I kind of crammed those words together, didn't I? A passion and a talent, a palate. If you have the passion and the talent for something and the real love for something, and you want something that bad, you have to do the work to make it a reality. We have to actually build the thing. It's one thing to love something so much. It's a whole other thing to put in the work to make it a concrete reality. Okay? And that's kind of where you're being challenged now. It's like, yeah, you love it, you want it, you feel it, you're passionate about it, you have this desire for it, this deep soul desire for it. Are we building it? Okay. Now the next card is position number 3, the soul. The hidden self, the unconscious, the seat of deep feelings and secret longings, right? And it's the 8 of Swords, right? This is what is kind of being whispered from deep within you, okay, from the shadows within you. And this might be, this is difficult because this is self-sabotage. This is the card of interference. This is the card that says there's something inside of us that gets in our own way. It's like something inside of us is tying our shoelaces together, and it sucks, because it's something that usually takes place without our conscious awareness. Though I think that you're getting hints of this. You're ready to sort of bring this to light, and you're ready to think, okay, this is the internal resistance, the unconscious resistance that's getting in between my passion and my building of that life. See, these two cards, I can't get them to go together. I can force them together, but this is always getting in the way. If we get rid of that, then, okay. Now we're building the life based on that love. We don't want to let this energy, this 8 of Swords, it's overthinking, overanalysis. This could be doubt. It's some sort of internal resistance. It's self-sabotage. This is us getting in our own way. There's something inside of us that is interfering with our plans. Okay? This is kind of like we set our alarm at night, but then somewhere in the middle of the night, that little mischievous version of ourselves wakes up and turns the alarm off. Then we sleep in. We sleep too late. We oversleep and we're late, So that's kind of what it's like. So there is that version of ourselves that's turning off the alarm clock after you've set it. There's that version of you that is tying your shoelaces together when you're about to start running toward your goals. And I think that you're becoming more and more aware of what that is. and how to deal with that, how to at least acknowledge it. Okay? It's that little mischievous part of ourselves. It doesn't mean any harm necessarily. It's that little trickster, you know? And I think we have to acknowledge it and accept it and bring it into the fold and not shun it, not reject it. Maybe it's based on fear. Maybe it came from some sort of a fear, or it came from some kind of insecurity, or was born out of some past thing. Okay? We see connections with the past anyway with our Three of Swords. That's up here. We'll get over there soon. The next card is position 4, the Dwarf. The old patterns, the inertial drag from the past, the residue of old karma. Okay? And this is kind of, this is fire and earth. Now, there are 3 court cards here, so I feel like this has something to do with old relationships. It may be that we've put ourselves out there before and we got burned. It could be that we've tried to build a life based on love and connection and compassion and kindness and a real vulnerable, open love, open heart honesty kind of thing. And it didn't go so well, right? So there's something that is related to the past for you that's still interfering with the present. And this is the card of perseverance. This is the card of tenacity. This is the card of staying with something for a long time. Maybe we feel somewhere in our past we stayed committed to something a lot longer than we should have. That we didn't know when to give up on something. Okay? It could be that you're still feeling sort of attached to something in the past that's getting in the way of you really connecting with what you're doing now. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career, a job, a skill, a sport, a belief, a spiritual path, a process, or whatever, a practice. Something that's preventing you from building up your life and yourself the way you really want to. Okay, because this could be that commitment. This is a card that doesn't give up. This is the card that stays on course, that stays committed. This is the cruise control card, right? And it could be that maybe we got too comfortable somewhere in the past, and it ended up kind of biting us in the butt. Yeah, and so there's that part of us out of that experience, whether this happened when you were a kid or it happened last week. It's out of this kind of situation, something else is born. That little trickster version of ourself is born. And it thinks that it's doing us a favor by shutting off the alarm clock, by tying our shoelaces together, by sabotaging the relationship. It thinks it's doing it. It thinks it's protecting us. It's a complex. It's an energy complex, a psychic complex within us. And it thinks that it's doing a good job. Okay? So this is that old wound or that old pattern that must be faced and released. Okay. Position 5 is the Giant. And this is the driving force. This is kind of an impulse right now that propels you. This is the 4 of Cups. This is the card of luxury. This is the card of, in some ways, we're feeling too comfortable right now. So where you're being motivated, like the driving force, what is motivating you right now, is a rebellion against sort of the complacency. This is playing it safe. This is the safe harbor. This is kind of saying like, yeah, maybe I've been in a storm in the past, and that's something back here, right? Maybe I've been in a storm in the past, and I've made my way to a safe harbor, a nice sheltered cove next to some nice island. I've dropped the anchor. I'm fixing up the boat. I'm repairing the sails. I'm okay. I'm healing. I'm good. I'm safe. I'm comfortable. But this could be our motivation then to keep going, because when we linger here, any comfortable position starts to feel uncomfortable after a while. That's why I'm always moving around in this really old, crappy chair that I sit in here for these readings. I'm always moving around because, I sit here for 20 minutes, I get uncomfortable. It starts out as a very comfortable position, but very soon it motivates you to move. So sometimes our discomfort is an indication that it's time to go and build the life we want. So when we're in the 4, we're in this luxury, and we're getting too cozy here. We feel, I need to find something with passion, because now the Knight of Cups is us kind of going back out to sea and setting sail again, finding that love, finding that passion, building that life, going from water to earth, from our deepest soul desires to our behaviors, right? Acting on these deep soul desires, what we really want in life, what our dreams and our hopes, wishes, our aspirations really are, we're making them happen. Because we realize that I can't sit here in this comfy little cove or this safe harbor any longer. This is the storm shelter. We go down in the storm shelter, let the storm pass. Maybe we've got a little cot, we got some food, we got a little black and white TV or something down there. Got a board game or something. And we get comfortable. Make yourself comfortable. We'll be here for a while, right? But then eventually we realize that I'm not supposed to stay here forever. This isn't my new home. I got to go back up. I got to go back topside at some point. I don't want to make this my home. So this really could be, this is something that we have to feel in order to start the process of growth again. We have to become uncomfortable in the luxury that we've built, the familiar surroundings, the comfortable way of life, the routine that we're in. This is kind of this is a life that you're living where for a while we've been telling ourselves, this is fine, this is okay, this is perfectly good and healthy, this is neutral. This is a card that says, I'm okay. Not great. There are no holes in the boat, though. The boat's not sinking. But I'm not sailing off to my adventure either. So this is kind of like an in-between period where it's like this was supposed to be a temporary resting place, a temporary healing, right? A temporary sheltering, not a permanent place for us to live. Okay? So the situation you're in life right now, the motivation is your rebellion against just living an okay, mediocre kind of emotional life. We want passion. We want to have our passion and we want to behave on that. We want to act on that passion. We don't want to suppress that passion. We have to allow it to reach the level of earth. Now, this is the only earth card you have. And so this is very important because this is saying, how are we going to translate all this energy into the actual behaviors that are going to build the life? We could be sabotaging the greater life and just building the safe and secure life, which is what the complexes want anyway. That little mischievous version of you that ties your shoelaces together just wants you to be safe. It cares about you. It's immature, doesn't make the best decisions, but it means well. So it ties your shoelaces together, turns off the alarm clock. It wants you to be safe. That's what the complexes, that's what they all do. They think they're helping us. But very often they're limiting our experience of life. But we have to acknowledge that. We have to recognize that, and we have to say, I'll start making the decisions from now on. We're not going to let the complexes drive the boat. We're not going to let the kids drive the car, But we have to recognize that, thank you, I know you were just trying to help, but I'll take it from here, okay? And that leads us directly to our sixth position, the imago, the image of your future self, the next step on your path, and this is the seed of tomorrow. It's the adjustment card. This is what you're becoming. You're becoming someone who drives their own car. You're driving yourself around, You're letting your higher aspirations. Now, this Knight of Cups, this is not just, I'm hungry for some ice cream. I'm going to go get ice cream. This is not, I really want to go bowling today. I'm going to go bowling. Or, God, I really want to have some fun or satisfy a desire. And then, boom, gratification. Right? It's great. This is more than that. This is a higher love and higher aspiration. It's an activated spiritual energy in you. Okay? It's your higher divine love. And maybe that's saying, I want a soulmate relationship. I want to live a life of service. I want to have deeper connections with my friends and family. I want to love myself. I want to love the universe. All right? Whatever those higher aspirations are, this is now us making them real. The dream is coming true, right? The destiny is unfolding. The emotion, the deepest emotional drive is crystallizing in your behavior. It's influencing your behavior. And no longer will your shoelaces be tied together, right? Because we've acknowledged, we've figured out what it was that's been holding us back. And now we're making high-level wisdom and discernment decisions. The adjustment card, right? This is how we align ourselves with the emerging destiny. This is the choices that we make that shape our vision, that shape the reality, the crystallization and the manifestation of what we most desire in life. That love, right? Whatever that Nine of Cups is, that passion, that aspiration. This is our ability to judge things in real time. This is our ability to navigate the boat. We're not letting the complex drive the boat. We're not letting the kids drive the car anymore. We're driving. And we're staying centered and balanced. We are making good decisions because we're using our higher wisdom and higher discernment to evaluate things in real time. We're judging the value, not the intrinsic value of something, but its relative value. What is going to help me get to my goals? What is going to be better for me when I know what kind of life I want to live? And you've got that Knight of Cups, right? So the Knight of Cups is always looking at the future. Let's point that out. The Knight of Cups is looking at the future and thinking, I know what my 10 of Cups looks like. I know from Ace to 10 what my emotional life, what I want it to be. Okay? And so we know that. And now, as we're using our discernment and we're judging things and we're administering justice, we're passing decisions, we're passing judgment on things, right? The question becomes the truth that is the decider here is this helping me get the emotional life that I want, right? The Ace through 10 of Cups that the Knight is looking. The Knight, all the Knights are looking at the 10, right? Knight of Cups looks at the 10 of Cups. The 9 of Wands looks at the 10 of Wands, etc. The Princes, however, are working on the present. Okay, so we have to say, how is our present behavior aligning with our vision of the future? It feels like there's some sabotage and there's some hesitation. Maybe a feeling that we're scared of going after what we really want, or we are somehow self-sabotaging, or we're sort of, we're getting too comfortable in the life we already have, etc. Okay? So now we're using this adjustment card to make the right decisions. In every option that the universe presents to us, 1,000 of them a day, which path leads me to my vision? Okay, so we're making choices. We're steering the boat. Okay, now on the path of the serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Okay, we start with the Devil card. This is position 7, the persona, right? And this is how we sort of present ourselves to the world. This is the mask we wear in the greater theater of life. And it's the devil. And it's the lone mountain goat. And this is a very practical, very ambitious, a very independent kind of person, right? This is someone you don't want to mess with. This is someone that can kick some butt. This is somebody that is going to climb up the mountain and they don't care who they're pushing off the mountain. This is somebody with intense ambition. So this is very different than that cardinal water energy that we see here. This is how you see yourself. This is how you really feel about yourself and what your essence really is, but this is how the rest of the world sees you. And this is a little bit scrappy, okay? And I mean that in a very good way. We've had to build up this persona because it helped to keep us safe in life. It helped us to this sort of keeps people away from us. Like the goat is always like ready to ram somebody with its horns. I love goats. I wish we could get some goats here. I think that'd be so cool. I don't think our neighbors would like it though. But anyway, everybody loves a goat, but nobody wants to mess with the goat. Nobody wants the goat to start attacking us, right? Goats will eat anything, chew anything up, and spit it out. Goats will ram their horns into anything and wrestle with it. They don't even care. Okay? Goats are very cute and very cuddly, but goats get a bad rap, right? Goats are looked at as being you stay away from that energy, right? The devil card, right? It has some pretty negative connotations. Most people, or at least back in the day, people used to be very afraid of the devil card and the death card. I think now, through a lot more insight, a lot of meditation, a lot of more experience and familiarity with tarot, people aren't so afraid of the devil card anymore. But as your persona, it kind of is maybe this idea that like you like to be the opposition to people. You're like the opposing force. You're the accuser. You're the maybe a little bit of a contrarian. You like to maybe challenge people, and I think that it makes for an interesting engagement. But I think it sort of gives off the impression that you don't want people to get close to you. Okay. Now, the next position is position 8. This is your relationship. It's the position of the environment, and it may be a little bit of a position of a shadow. Okay, the hidden aspects of yourself. It may be some unacknowledged truths. But what I feel with the Fool card here is that we've let go of something. That maybe we have let go of this kind of persona, right? That we might be afraid, really. Like if we look at this as a shadow, we might be afraid of just being our authentic and vulnerable self, right? Because the Fool is kind of splayed out, right? It is just, we're just sort of, it's vulnerable, right? The arms and legs, we're not standing on stable ground, so we're off balance. We're not holding anything in our hands. Well, we're holding a little bit of fire or whatever, but basically we're in kind of a vulnerable position. We're wide open, you know, and that's kind of a risky way to be. You know, if we're used to being that mountain goat, we're always kind of in a fighting stance. We're always ready, you know, walking like this rather than just here I am world, you know, look at me, you know, which is what the Fool's doing. The Fool's saying, here I am, you know, take me for who I am. This is what you get. You know, I am who I am, and what you see is what you get, and all that stuff. So the Fool's kind of let go of the need for that persona or that mask, right? And I think when we kind of want that. We want people to just see us for who we are. We want to have relationships where I can just be. I don't have to be a certain version of myself. You know, we all have some friends where it's like, with my music friends, I kind of put on the music persona, right? And you're with your content creator friends, you kind of put on the content creator mask, you know? You're with your family, you got your family mask. You're with your kids, you got your, you got your adult mask, you know, the mature mask. But sometimes we just want to be ourselves. Like, I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to be a role. I want to be nothing and everything at once. I just want to exist here without having to be anything. Yeah. And so once we realize this, and once we are able to open ourselves up to this a little bit, right, by embracing this desire, or maybe recognizing that we have a little bit of a fear of being vulnerable, of being authentically ourselves, because maybe that's kind of when we got burned in the past. And so now, anytime we start to get close to revealing our true self, that little trickster comes out and turns our alarm clock off and ties our shoelaces together. Okay. Now the next card is position 9. It is the Spectre. And the Spectre is the fear, worry, the concern, the anxiety, the dread, the challenges that we fear the most. And this is a very important card, because this now, we realize the Three of Swords is the complex itself. The Three of Swords is the card of understanding the process of creation on the mental plane. So we understand that whatever unconscious programs are running, that's kind of what's building the world. We want our higher love, our higher passion and compassion and empathy and all this stuff, our agape, right? We want that to rule and build the world. We want that to dictate our behaviors and create and, build our life and our world. What we are starting to realize is that it is these unconscious complexes that are building the world around us. This is a card of Saturn in Libra. So this is the restriction. It's hijacked our decision-making process, right? This is Libra. This is Saturn in Libra. So this has been influencing. This is like a virus in the computer that's kind of hijacked the execution of the programs or whatever, right? And so we can look at this as a little bit of that kind of a virus or a program, a mind virus, whatever it is, that has hijacked our decision-making faculty. And recognizing this as a Saturn in Libra energy has been restricting our connections, right? Saturn, restriction, preventing things from moving. And Libra, of course, connecting with people. Libra, forming relationships, right? Reciprocating kind of, networking kind of thing. So this is something that's been interfering with the network. Something that's preventing us from making the connections we want to make. All right? This is like a virus in the computer that won't let you get on the internet, And it's an unconscious thing, and it usually is happening under the surface in the root directory somewhere where we don't really know, we can't find it. But by realizing when this happens, once it is in process, once this program is running, it sort of comes out of the shadow and we can look at it. It's like you can't find the virus, like a doctor can't diagnose an illness until it sees the symptom. So it's like the mechanic, you take your car to the mechanic and you say, something's wrong with the car. And they say, well, is it making any weird noises? No. I mean, not right now. The mechanic's going to drive it around for a while and really listen. We got to replicate the problem. Once I hear the noise, once I see the thing happening, once I see the oil dripping, okay, now I know what it is. So by recognizing this, by being aware and seeing it as it's operating, it's like it comes out of hiding in order to do its work, to cause its problem. It's like you kind of have to stay up all night and wait for that little trickster to come shut your alarm clock off. You have to be paying attention so that you can see when that little thing scurries over and ties your shoelaces together. And then you can say, aha, now I see you. We have to witness it in the act, basically, right? And it happens with our unconscious complexes, that we're only going to know they're there by the effects that they have. So we have to be very observant, and we have to kind of catch ourselves, when this program is running, so we can say, okay, I see it now, and I can take control of the system back now. Okay? And this, of course, the Three of Swords is something that we have been reliving, or something that is still weighing down on us as an anchor, keeping us anchored in this safe cove. It's kind of like this is the complex, the anchor, that's trying to keep your boat safe by not letting you leave the safe harbor. This is like something has chained you down in the basement in the storm shelter and it's not letting you come back up. It thinks it's keeping you safe. Okay. And so this really holds the key to our freedom, because once we recognize this, it loses its power. Okay. And position 10, your destiny. The culmination, the fruit of your labors, the fully realized self is Mars in Leo. And this is the card of valor. It shows that the path you're weaving, with every choice. It shows that the way forward for you is not giving up on yourself, not giving up on this. Realizing that you love yourself enough, you love the world enough, you want this enough, you aspire to this enough, that you're willing to do that difficult work of sort of catching yourself in the act of self-sabotage, and to battle against those complexes. But maybe battle is the wrong word, okay? Because sometimes this card is like David and Goliath kind of feeling. We feel like the odds are against us, right? And I think as long as we have this is kind of showing us what we need to do in order to unfold our destiny. And maybe it's like we got to stop looking at it like a battle. Maybe it's like we could keep banging our head against the same wall and nothing's ever going to change. So this isn't about resistance. This isn't about overcoming something. It's about recognizing it, accepting it, integrating it, but taking the control back. It's kind of like saying, thank you for all of your help, but I'll take it from here. Get in the back seat. You're not driving the car anymore. But we're not kicking it out of the car, because we kick it out of the car, we fight against it, we try to suppress it or eliminate it. It just goes back into hiding. It's going to come bite us in the butt a week later. Okay? We want to keep it out in the open where we can keep an eye on it. So we say, thank you for your service. Get in the back seat. I'm driving. Put your seatbelt on. But I'm making the decisions now. So maybe this card is saying that, look, our destiny here, the way forward for us is a kind of a self-acceptance. Accepting that this is part of ourself that we need to integrate and sort of keep an eye on it. But this is our moment to now take control back. Take control of our life back and start building that relationship, or build that life, that love that experience, that future, right, that you envision, that you aspire to. And it's not necessarily the physical details. Remember, the Knight of Cups is seeing the emotional future. How I want my life to feel. What kind of feeling tone do I want my life to have? What do I see for myself in the emotional realm down the road, right? And so we have to take some of this compassion, we've got to apply it to ourselves, to that little trickstery part of ourselves that's tying the shoelaces together. Maybe we don't look at it like a battle of wills, that it's David versus Goliath. We don't look at it as a war that needs to be waged, because that war is an internal war, and that's gonna divide us against ourselves. What we need is inclusion. What we need is acceptance. What we need is to take this little trickster and bring it into the fold, you know. Let's look at the mystery card. This is position 11. This is the guide, okay? This is the higher self, the inner teacher. This is the wisdom that waits to lead you onward and upward, okay? If you have a prediction for this card, please put it in the comments. I would like to see some sort of self-love, compassion, some sort of integration. I would like to see maybe Six of Cups, maybe the Wheel of Fortune, maybe the Universe card. This card is going to bless your journey with its counsel, okay? Let's see what we have. The Two of Pentacles. What does this card whisper to your soul? This is the card of harmonious change. This is a card of sort of passing the torch in a very amicable way. This is like a switching of regimes, right? A switching of leadership. But it's in a very harmonious and peaceful way. It's not an overthrow, right? It's not a coup in our psyche. It's a very peaceful and harmonious changing of the guard, where we're telling this other part of ourselves, this past self or this trickster part of ourselves, this self-sabotaging complex of ourselves, we're saying, look, I'm going to take over from here. Thank you for your service. This is also the card of choice. It's a card of being proactive. So it's saying whatever life we want, whatever feeling tone we want our life to have, we've got to take control of the wheel, and we've got to start implementing those things. We've got to open ourselves up and be vulnerable and notice when that complex is taken over. And it will take over again. Okay? But this is the card that says once we recognize that that complex is being activated and that program is running, that's the opportunity where we can do something different. We can change our behavior in that moment. We can't just make a decision, well, I'm never going to let that complex, get the better of me ever again, and then just go about our life, because it doesn't work that way. We can only make the change in the moment as it's happening. And that's the guidance here that we have to trust. We have to trust that the complex is still there. It's still going to be activated every once in a while. It's going to be triggered. It's a button that's getting pushed in us or something, right? And it's going to activate, and we're going to find ourselves in that behavior again. Then we can say, wait a minute, that's the complex talking here. I have a choice here. I can do something different. And so we take away its power. And we don't get angry. We don't get forceful about it. But we take away the power, and we control the ship. We say, get in the back seat. Okay? Or get in the seat next to me so I can see you. I keep my eye on you, So I think this is really wonderful energy. I do. I think this is the way forward here. We're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. Because this is a bonus reading, we're just going to go straight into it. Okay? But if you want to join the channel, become a channel member so you can have access to all of the extended readings for all of the zodiac signs, you can click on the link in the corner, or there's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Virgo, usually Tuesdays and Saturdays. Again, this is a bonus reading. Be sure to watch both of your other readings as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together. All right. I love holy basil tea, especially when it's cold. It's so good cold. Let's get into the extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do oracle cards and tarot cards. The way we do it is we leave these cards here and we just overlay the new cards, right? Almost like clarifiers that help us to understand the energies in these different stations. And also new details come through and new combinations, new interactions and reactions, right, between the cards. So your hexagram today is hexagram 14. All right. Hexagram 14 is a card of great wealth. The fire in heaven above, great wealth. You, Virgo, suppress evil and promote good, obeying heaven's terms and your destiny. Okay. Suppressing evil and promoting good. So in that moment where we recognize that we're behaving in a way that's not really our authentic selves, we try to take control back. The suppression is, it's just a particular word that we've translated, but really what it is taking control back. We don't let the evil behavior take place, and instead we put a positive behavior, or let's say productive or non-productive, whatever you want to do. We don't have to say good and evil. We put a productive behavior in its place, and that is us obeying heaven's terms and the mandate, the destiny. Great wealth, supreme success. This is the possession of greatness, wealth, endowments, enrichment, abundance, affluence, assets. This is a command. This is an influence. This is appreciation. Put an end to the bad and encourage the good, accepting the divine order and what is fated. You'll have great success. Where we learn to make our own values, we command our own enrichment. The greatest kind of wealth accrues from furthering the work. The superior person manages their forces in accordance with the goals of the work. Often, this means things other than material possessions or achievement. It emphasizes that this wealth must be administered in accordance with the will of heaven, which is to say, the principles of the work must always guide your choices if you're not to lose equilibrium or become pauperized by illusions. The superior person considers a rich possession of moral principle and peace to be true wealth. Count your blessings. Okay? I like this. I think that this is us managing our forces in accordance with the goals. In other words, we have to choose our behaviors based on what the life is that we want to build. We have a great power and a great responsibility here. We have a great wealth, and we want to fulfill our nature. We want to realize our potential. We want to self-actualize. We want to build ourselves and build the life that we truly, truly desire. That's the central card, stations 1 and 2 here. Okay. So I think that hexagram is right on point. We're going to do an angel number as a mystery card. We'll do an oracle of empowerment. The sacred fire. I am filled with passion. My energy is like a bonfire burning within. I feel energy flow through my being, and I focus this power to achieve my goals today. That passion, right? And that's one of the key words for the Knight of Cups, that we want to live this life where there is passion. We want to feel the passion of our connections with the world around us. I want to feel like I'm connecting with things, and when I connect with things, there is passion, there is spark, there's chemistry, there's flow. Whether it's with people, places, things, pets, plants, paths, skills, experiences, art, music, whatever it is. I want to feel like I can connect with things. And I want to feel good with that connection. I want to build a life where I have more opportunities for those kinds of connections. Okay? That's sacred fire. We don't want to sabotage our sacred fire, Now let's do an oracle of the radiant sun. The egotism. Now this is a Mars interesting, it's a Mars in Leo, same as this card here. So in a way, we're sort of being reminded that looking at this as a battle is kind of still keeping us in this back energy here, in this previous past energy, this complex, where something, this is where the complex was created. So even though we feel like, okay, I've recognized this, and now I'm going to seize control, I'm going to usurp the power, I'm going to steal the throne back, we're still operating from that same complex energy. You see what I mean? So whatever this was back here, when we perhaps were vulnerable and we got hurt, we got burned, where we kind of stayed committed to something way longer than we should have, etc. That's what created the complex, right? But see, this energy is still feeding off that complex. And so this is kind of like, this is in the movie where you think like Arachnophobia, not any spoiler alerts, but they think they defeat the spider at the end. We got the spider, good, right? Movie's almost over. Wait a minute, there's a bigger monster, right? And it always happens in every horror movie. Towards the end, last 20 minutes of the movie, they slay the monster. Everybody thinks the movie's over. Everybody turns their back and starts to feel good. And then guess what? The monster's not dead, or there's a bigger monster, or they forgot something. You know what I mean? There's always like a secondary bigger monster that comes after. Pay attention. Every horror movie is like that. Last 20 minutes, you'll see it. That's kind of what we have here. We think that we've taken the power back, but really the bigger monster is this martial fighting kind of battle energy. Okay? And we might find that we're having just the same kind of temper or the same kind of self-sabotage that might just be expressed in a new way now. That we've taken the power away from that particular form of expression, but it doesn't mean that the foe is vanquished, because it will come back and in a different way. Okay? So it may be that this is never something that we fully conquer. It's not a battle to be won. It's an energy to understand and integrate. It's not a battle to be fought, because there's just going to be another battle, another battle, another battle, another battle. Okay? It's always going to come back and manifest in a new way. Let's do an oracle of creativity. Precision. The desire to do things precisely is useful as long as it doesn't devolve into rigidity. Okay? Rigidity to me feels like that Four of Cups, where it is comfortable, it is safe, it's too rigid. Because what it means to me is that, like, you've maybe been keeping yourself isolated, our heart's been kind of closed off, right? The Four of Cups is kind of like a frozen heart. It's a stagnating water energy that we're not letting anybody in. We're sort of protecting our heart. We're in the storm shelter emotionally. And that's okay. But when that is becoming so rigid that we're then not letting anybody in, it's like there's no reason to stay in the storm shelter anymore. It's time to open up and go back out again. So that, I think, is what we sort of, that's what we're seeing here. And maybe this is manifesting as this kind of precision, where if things don't go exactly the way you expect them to, we get upset. We feel turmoil. We feel as if something is invading our space. Okay? So we might be too rigid in this kind of precision, which is our expectation. And that's, we live alone. We're sort of in this isolated energy. Things can be exactly how we want them to be. But once we start interacting with other people, it invites in a variable. And that variable means that your days aren't always going to go exactly as you felt that they should, in exactly the way you're comfortable. We've gotten comfortable in that Four of Cups. Now, any other extraneous energy is sort of it upsets that balance a little bit. It disturbs us, because it takes us out of that comfortable routine. Yeah. Now let's do an oracle of Metatron. Here we have the ancestors, appreciation and healing. Yeah. I wonder if this is something that goes a little bit further back than just your childhood. I wonder if this is something that kind of goes generations and generations back for you. I feel like there is some kind of ancestor. There is a longer timeline here than what we might be originally thinking of, okay? But the appreciation and the healing, that's kind of what we need. We don't need fighting. We don't need more anger, more anxiety, or more temper. We need appreciation and healing. And maybe it's maybe it is a generational thing. And it's gonna stop with you. Yeah. Let's do the Path of the Serpent. Let's use the Handel Tarot. You have the Nine of Swords, the cruelty, okay, as the sort of as the persona. And I feel like the goat, the devil energy with the Nine of Swords. Yeah, people might find you a little bit difficult to approach, and I feel like that's something that we sort of have cultivated in order to keep people away, and it makes total sense. Okay, there we have the Seven of Swords. This is a uselessness. This is futility. Okay, and this might be us realizing that we've been obscuring our authentic face. Okay, and maybe we've been trying to even distract ourselves and convince ourselves that I don't need anybody else. I don't need any connections. I don't need people. You know, I don't need that kind of love in my life. I don't need anybody, right? And I think the uselessness is us realizing that, you know, I can tell myself that all day long, but when I'm alone, I still, if I'm really honest with myself, if I really am open and honest with who I am when I'm alone, I do want connection. I do want people. I do want friends and family, and I do want love and passion and fun and all these kinds of things, community. And anyway, then we have a Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords, rather than the three, we get a six. And to me, that feels like we've integrated that complex. We've taken it in as part of the structure of our mind because we can't get rid of the complexes. We can't eliminate them. They're there. We can't, you know, they don't die off. We can recognize them and accept them and integrate them and allow them to be part of our psyche. And that way we're in control of that. And I can recognize when they're starting to get a little too active, and I can say, hey, calm down, sit still, get your seatbelt on. I'm driving, you know. But we accept them as part of us. And now we realize that they have to be not pushed into the shadows or repressed, but they have to be built into the structure of our mind. And the Two of Wands, right? The choice to control our own actions and behaviors. And that's what it all comes down to. Whose domain is this? It's your domain. You decide how you behave. You decide how you act and react. You decide how you respond to things. You can choose love. You can choose acceptance of yourself. You can choose vulnerability. You can choose the future. We can't control what other people do. Okay? But we can't let that fact scare us into not going after the kind of life we want, because we're scared of how other people are going to behave, how they're going to treat us, how they're going to act, right? We can't control that. We can control what we do, and that's about it. Okay? And we see even that's difficult. Yeah. Let's look at our angel number, mystery card. 1122, the great shift, personal growth, spiritual development, manifesting your goals, oneness, connection, and completion. First, focus on the positive changes occurring due to your efforts. Then, expand your horizons and permit yourself to try something new. Get out of the Four of Cups. So many positive shifts are in store for you. The world around you is changing in favor of your intentions. And I think that's a real positive note. Once we present ourselves and we sort of we start building the kind of life that we want, I think we're going to see the world around us is changing, and the world around us is going to be very supportive of these shifts. Right? This is your moment to really take control and start building the life that you want. And I think that's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you greatly. I love you deeply, and I hope to see you again very soon.